Yo, yo, what's up, guys? Brent here. Hope everybody's having an amazing Tuesday. It is Tuesday, March 31st. Bitcoin moving up a bit today. We'll talk about that. Other than that, it has been very, very quiet in the markets. Obviously, stock market ripping today. We'll talk about that. But news-wise, up until today, it's been pretty quiet. Uh, especially in crypto. You've probably seen my posts the past few days, been heavily talking about NFTs and digital collectibles, VFriends, stuff like that. Obviously, not going to go away from the crypto stuff. That's my bread and butter. I'm a huge chart guy. I love going on these streams and talking about crypto. But I also really a big believer in digital collectibles, which are NFTs. And I know right now, especially outside of crypto in the mainstream, talking about NFTs in 2026 is crazy and is not the most popular thing. But I think we're right on the cusp of like two important narratives and things, and that's collecting. Collecting's huge. Stock market, Bitcoin's been absolutely going to shit the last few months, but collectibles, the Logan Paul Pokemon sale, 16 million or whatever, collectibles are up. Um, so collecting's huge in pop culture, is only going to continue to get bigger, and then you have digital assets, the government. You have all the regulators, you have all the biggest institutions in the world pretty much telling us that all of these big technologies, all the big markets are going on chain. So you combine digital assets rising with collecting rising. What does that bring you? Digital collectibles, which are NFTs. And I'm not sure if it's going to take a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years for this to play out. But I'm a big believer that the world will only become more digital, and digital collecting, just like how Pokemon, sports cards, One Piece, all these things are big now. I think the next frontier of collecting is NFTs and digital collectibles. Who knows if they're going to call them NFTs? Obviously, the brand still has a big shit stain on its name right now. But I think could take a. We were talking about it yesterday with Jeremy. Let's get Jeremy on our stream yesterday, or our Twitter space yesterday. Jeremy from V Friends, where he talked about just that. Where, you know, I think one of these, IPs like V Friends or Pudgies, Apes. One of these will get a Netflix show, but it'll probably take a real world application of NFTs, maybe medical records being put on chain or something like that, to really get everybody, talking about NFTs and people buying them again. But I think it's coming in the next few years, and in the meantime, I'm just collecting, you know, NFTs and collectibles that I believe in, mostly from projects like VFriends that I believe are building meaningful IPs, right? Just like Pokemon, Marvel, you got Disney, obviously. The reason why those original collectibles or anything tied to Disney is valued the way it is because of the stories and the IP that people fall in love with, right? So, V Friends, I think, is building the best one, at least so far, building a real universe and IPs and stories and characters. But yeah, that's the bet for me. Just wanted to say that just in case anybody's wondering why I've been posting strictly NFT stuff. I promise I'm not, gonna be strictly an NFT guy from now on. But I am a big believer in digital collectibles and NFTs, especially at a time where crypto the last week, Bitcoin has barely moved until today, and not much going on in the news side, right? So I do want to talk a little bit about NFTs towards the end of this show, and we'll go over some stuff on there because I know as some of the homies on here are NFT people, so we want to cover everything in kind of Web3 and everything going on. But we'll talk heavily about crypto today. It's been a bit. Bitcoin obviously moving up at a very, very crucial point in the market. But before we get started, I'm gonna go ahead and check the chat. We got some homies in here. What's up, Murgo? How you doing? What is up, Dom? Bulls calls. What's up, bro? I'm good. I'm good. What up, Mike? How you doing, brother? You think Soul will go down right now? Interesting. Yeah, we'll see. We'll talk about that here in a second. What's up, Sod? Artham. What is up? What's good? What's good? Yeah, Poppy is a. Yeah, I'm reading chat. I'm reading chat. Can't wait to hear all the new things. Hell yeah, hell yeah. So, yeah, we're gonna go a bit into crypto. Not much going on as far as news goes. We've been talking about the last few weeks. That this low here on Bitcoin at 63K is a very, very crucial point. Anytime the market creates a low and holds above it for multiple weeks, whenever you're reapproaching that low or high, but really in this case, a low, it is a very important decision point in the market, right? Oftentimes at lows like this, you'll either see a big reversal, which is a big turning point in the market, or once you break through that low, like we did here in November, you see this low back in November. Once it breaks, usually you get a big fall. So it's a big change or a big momentum shift either way it goes. I've been telling you guys for a while because of everything going on with the war, which I don't think is going to just go away personally. Uh, but right away, I think it's more likely that we probably do at least retest 63K, if not break through it. But we really have to see how price reacts near this low. So far, we've been consolidating above it for about 4 days. But the thing is, this consolidation could uh, easily lead to another kind of push down to that low there. And really, what I'm doing is not overcomplicating it. Really, I am short on ETH from like 2,200, holding that. And if we do break, I will take some profits on that. But other than that, I'm just buying Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, some of the strong movement meme coins, some like the 5 or 6 that I really believe in, the Taos, some AI coins, and then collecting the NFTs, guys. I've played a few low cap memes actually the last week or so. I've been more active and stuff like that, but really for the most part, just sticking to the basics. Um, and then when the market heats up, that's when we start going harder into stuff. A white whale, for example. Even the market wasn't. It was a lot hotter than it is now. There'll be way more opportunities like that here once things heat up. It's just really all about right now in the markets. I think it's all about. Um, Let me find it. Sorry, I put out this tweet. I think right now, FFV, which if you aren't following FFV, go ahead right now. He's one of my favorite people in the space. Even before I got to know him, we had him on the stream here about a couple months ago. Great guy. Both talks about NFT and crypto. Mix of humor and just he does streams. He's a great guy. But he put out a post saying, "What's your number one advice you'd give someone in a bear market?" And I quote tweeted and said, I think it's about finding the balance between continuing to learn, connect with other people, accumulate DCA, like I was saying a second ago, while this is important, not over trading, meaning, not taking that same 100, 200K, $1,000, $5,000, excuse me, that you made earlier this year and giving it right back to the markets. So many people do that. People who I know have made millions of dollars. This happens every bear period. I know people make hundreds of tens, hundreds, millions of dollars, and they give it all back and more because they overtrade during these times, right? It's about picking your spots, about the white whales, the USDUCs, going harder into stuff like that, while the rest of the time you're probably going to be doing nothing as far as trading, if you're not overtrading. There's some people who can trade every day and do all these like small cap meme coins, but too many people overtrade. And then second is just driving yourself crazy on whether the bottom's going to happen in now, in April, and May, or in June, or July, or fucking, next fucking March. Driving yourself crazy over that. If you can avoid that, excuse me, my fucking window's open. Um, if you can, if you can do those three things while avoiding the overtrading and driving yourself crazy, you'll make it out on the other side of this way better off than the people who are just overtrading and just doing too much really. So um, I think that's just really important to keep in mind during this time. So let me know. Let's see. What is up, Rojam? How you doing? How you doing? Currently, 40% of the altcoin are down when the market. When will the market hit up? Yeah, I don't know. Right now, it's bouncing. Really, what I'd be looking for is if Bitcoin were to come more above 70, and then really the biggest trigger is if Bitcoin were to close back above the 72K high. At that point, that very likely leads to a bigger reversal, and that would mean that this isn't not a continuation to the downside. Oh shit. Oh man. Okay, let me share my screen. But I'll re-say what I was gonna say. If Bitcoin were to instead shift above 70K instead here, that would very likely confirm a bigger reversal instead. And this bottom looking more like something like this, like we saw in April 2025, and produce like a bigger bounce into the 80s. Okay. At that point, I could see that happen. But again, we really have to see what we do near these lows here. Just like we saw here, I don't know if you guys remembered. Oftentimes you'll see some, price will hold above a low like we saw here in February 26th, and then all of a sudden we'll just go down and shoot back towards there. You'll think it's a bottom, and then all of a sudden it puts in at least one more leg down. So I'm not making any rash decisions on longing or anything yet. If I were to want to long this, I would want to see a move down and a confirmation of not breaking that low and like a momentum shift back to like 70. But if you really want to be a safe, make a safe long play on the higher time frames, it's really about once price closes back above 73K, that's when it's a bigger confirmation that we're probably going to see a bigger bounce. And you would definitely miss the move right here by doing that. But again, you could be shorting here and then all of a sudden, or buying here and then it comes down. This is kind of the safest bet, is whenever you wait for it to close back above the prior consolidation high here and then long something like this. And again, you won't catch as much, but it's better, way better risk to reward than trying to guess down here. So yeah, that's what I'd be looking for. I'm not overcomplicating. I wish there was some more exciting fucking method I could give right now, but it really is about patience during the right times and then striking while the iron's hot during the good times. As far as like more of the trading side, but the biggest gains I've ever made is just by accumulating during corrective periods, whether the corrective period lasts a year, like we're maybe in now, or if it's a 3 month, 4 month, 6 month period like we've seen before. So yeah, we'll go over some more of those coins here in a second. But bears are for building. Hell yeah. Absolutely. Check out Aircoin. Yeah, I can look at that for you. But yeah, the market's just been so fucking so quiet. I definitely do. I know everybody says like, "Oh, I wish the NFT days will come back just for like the fun alone and everything going on every day." But like I definitely understand during these times people saying that cuz um there's just not a lot going on in crypto, but I do want to. We're definitely going to start covering some of the AI stuff, some of the stuff going on outside of everything. But Thread guy's on right now. Yesterday he had on Andrew Yang, which I thought was super interesting. I don't know if you guys checked that out, but yeah, the stock market though. Let's go ahead and go over what went on today to cause stock index to cause this big move up today in the stock market. Yeah, it's the Iran president says he's ready to end the war with U.S. but wants guarantees. So that's really what caused a bigger move up today, which is very interesting. But as we've seen before, it's not over until it's over. One day you could be saying this and then they don't get the guarantees and then all of a sudden it's back to war again. Or tomorrow they sign a deal and we get a bottom. So we got to see what happens. I think best way to go about these things is you can play the long and short side, but don't make that the only thing. Is you want to be buying and accumulating no matter what during these times. Because again, we've seen in the April corrections all these different times, you never truly know when the very bottom is going to be put in. Especially when you're at decision points in the market like we are at Bitcoin, it could truly go either way, right? I have reasons why I think at least another move down is probably going to happen. But overall, this could be a consolidation that leads to a reversal, or it could also be a consolidation that leads to more downside. We really have to see how it plays out. If we were to get another fat red move down, I think at that point there's a good opportunity it probably does break. But to the inverse, if we were to hold above 63 for, let's say, 3 or 4 more days and to the end of the week, that increases the likelihood that we will shift up from here. So we'll have to come back next stream Friday. Again, we're not done yet, obviously, but Friday we'll go ahead and come back and see where we're at exactly. If we're still where we're at on Friday, give or take, I think there's a very good chance we do shift back to the upside. Instead, probably clear 73. Um, oh yeah, I'll do that. Do I trade on prop firms? Somebody asked. No, I do not trade on prop firms. Prop firms kind of got bigger later on. I started trading in the markets 10 years ago, with Forex, and then quickly kind of shifted to crypto. And I don't know. Prop firms, to be honest, I haven't used any of them personally myself. And then I've done research. I understand how they work, but I know a lot of prop firms out there are pretty predatory, where they're not. They understand that most people, um, they're pretty much they're trying to collect the fees for you to like sign up, to get evaluated or whatever to do it. And they understand, one, most people will never pass it, and then two, a lot of them aren't actually sending the trades to the market. So you got to be careful. You got to make sure it's a reputable dealer. I know there are prop firms out there to where if you do perform a certain way, that it is beneficial to both parties for you to like use it. But you just got to be careful out there. If it sounds too good to be true, not even too good to be true, but if it's like overhyped with like different I don't know, fee structures and stuff like that, just trying to entice you, usually you want to be careful. I think it's best to learn trading and doing all that with just a smaller amount of your own money, versus the prop firm stuff. But no, I don't use it though. 60K breaks cleanly. Do we accept a deeper winter? Deeper winter, probably just a few more months. Like, that's a great question. Like, when I say winter, and even if the winter continues, honestly, guys, I think we're gonna see a bottom in Bitcoin by the end of the year. Whether that means Bitcoin hits an all-time high by the end of the year, which I don't think is probably likely, um, or it's possible though, but like, or if we see a bottom at the end of the year and maybe move up in September, October, uh, or hit close to 100K, 110K near October, and then all of a sudden in January we hit all time highs. I could see something like that, or I could see us come down somehow to the 50s, put in a bottom pretty quickly, maybe a month, and then all of a sudden maybe in August we're already back at 110. You never know. Also, a possibility we bottom out here and go up, as well. So really got to see how we react near this low. I think another retest of this low at least is probably going to happen though. Alrighty, which blockchain are the best for NFTs? ETH holds the most of the NFT volume. 60, yeah. But Iran's president says he's ready to end the war. We will see, though. I mean, it's really not done until it's done. Because, again, we've seen these things back out at any time, so many different times. The market started rallying today because of Trump's statement before the open. Today he said, all of those countries that can't get jet fuel because of the Strait of Hormuz, like the United Kingdom, which refused to get involved in the declaration of Iran, I have a suggestion for you. Number one, buy from the U.S. We have plenty. The number two, build up some delayed courage. Go to the Strait and just take it. You'll have to start learning how to fight for yourself. The USA won't be there to help you anymore, just like you weren't there for us. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done. Go get your own oil. Jeez. Crazy. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to know if this is more of a China situation where they were always going to make a deal all along, and it was just China kind of posturing to their people to not look weak. Is it one of those situations? It very well could be with Iran, because like Trump said here, they've been decimated. They've had how many different leaders now get taken out? They got obviously the first Khomeini, and then there was a guy in the middle, and now they have Khomeini's son. Um, I don't know. I don't know what to believe. And again, we just have to. It's not over till it's over, and we just got to see how price reacts near this major low. I think my bias leads probably to like 60, probably 60 to 70% that when we break down, to the downside, at least to 63K. But I'm accumulating as if the bottom's in right now, because I've been in these situations before where back in the past where I tried to time the bottom and just get an extra 10 or 15 more percent on something and then just miss the entire move. You think being in coins right now when they're going down is bad? Imagine being not completely sidelined out of the market when price is going up. There's nothing more fucking maddening because you don't know whether to buy higher or, and then price keeps going up and then all of a sudden we're back at all-time highs and you're just completely sidelined. It's better to risk a little bit of downside in assets you have a lot of conviction in than be completely sidelined once they go up inevitably. So, yeah. Bitcoin, ETH, same kind of thing. Bitcoin and ETH are going to follow each other. Reason I think this is such a strong setup and why we probably continue down is this wedge that ETH produced is just so clean. It's pretty much a bigger version. I'm going to shut my door real quick. It's essentially a bigger version of what we saw um, back here in January. Essentially, the anatomy of one of these these corrections or these wedges is essentially what I'm measuring here with these lines is essentially corrective behavior, right? We talk about it all the time. Impulses are the big moves up in the market. You want to be in these plays once the market's going up, right? Opposite of that is corrections, which is more choppy type behavior. Corrections come in between moves up or down. And corrections are choppy, like I said. So even though this is going up, it's in a choppy like manner. Same thing in the bear markets. You see this as a corrective channel, but to the downside. What this wedge like depicted to me is obvious corrective behavior, which almost always again leads to continuation, which to this side, which in this case would be to the downside. So I think we likely see ETH probably head down here in the near future, but again, we shall see. Tesla, all kind of stocks are kind of up again today. We'll see if they find their bottom and more of this stuff, more de-escalation happen. Not really de-escalation. We'll see if we do get de-escalation, I could say. Bitcoin kind of, or DXY, dollar index, kind of failing to break this high so far. We shall see if it does start breaking down here. Maybe we do see it come back down, but for now, again, DXY, Bitcoin, S&P 500, all at crucial decision points in the market right now. Oil, obviously, coming down pretty hard after that. Oil is at also a very important part of the market. So every asset right now is a very crucial point to where it's either going to confirm a big reversal, like here on oil, which would mean markets would be heading up, or a big continuation to the upside for oil. So I think this is all going to be depending on how the situation in Iran progresses. I think the only certain thing is like uncertainty, right? There's just so many different ways this could play out. Which lows on Bitcoin do you think we're going to sweep? I think 63K is very likely to be hit or close, but we'll see. I need to quote tweet, but what's scaring me in the market the most? Nothing's scaring me, brother. If anything, this is I think the best sweet spot to be invested in great digital assets because they're in a bear market right now still. Prices are down. We're talking Bitcoin's down 50% almost, right? Yeah, more than 50% or just about. You have other great assets down even more. And yet you have all the biggest institutions in the financial institutions in the entire world. BlackRock, Fidelity, Bank of America. On top of that, and these guys don't just predict what's going to happen. They decide what the future of finance is. Like that's just more or less how it works. These guys own all the assets. They custody all the assets. They own all the real estate. They just decide what's coming. And these guys are saying all markets are going on chain. Larry Fink is likening tokenization to the internet and all these things crypto people have been saying forever. And then not only that, you have all the regulators that were just shitting on crypto for years, right? Gary Gensler was just fucking with every company. And then now they're just putting out the fucking red carpet for all these companies to build in crypto with, legislation. We got the classifications finally where pretty much all coins, most of them are not securities. They're digital commodities or collectibles, which is crazy. Digital collectibles. You hear us talk NFT people talking Gary Vee, everybody's saying digital collectibles, and now the regulators have literally made a classification for digital collectibles, which by the way includes meme coins, which is crazy, which means meme coins are not securities, which means they're not these founders can build these meme coins without having worried about the SEC coming down on them. What's up, Teach? What's up, Katie? How you doing? We're just talking a little bit about the markets right now. But yeah, what was I saying? Um, yeah, I think right now is the best sweet spot to be involved invested in digital assets because, like I said, we're in a bear market. Prices are down, hype is low, all the classic signs of a bear market. But this time, the biggest institutions, the regulators, the biggest builders are all talking about digital assets. And I think on this next period, we're really going to see true adoption of the technology, of the digital collectibles. Um, and yeah, so nothing's really scaring me. Of course, I would like for the bull market and stuff and things to get more exciting in the crypto world tomorrow. Everybody would. But I'm having a lot of fun building, doing this Twitter spaces, doing streams here with you guys. I think this has been a great opportunity for people who are trying to build things and network and do all these different things to really do stuff like that. And it's been a cool time. Can't really complain. Did U.S. stock add 1.7 trillion today? Yeah, there's this big bounce on the S&P 500 after the president of Iran says that they're close to a deal, but they have some demands. So we'll see how that plays out. Obviously, we've seen these negotiations go south, but also in China, the China situation, we saw them make a deal on that. So we'll see what happens. Again, just accumulating no matter what, and we'll see what happens. Again, not much else going on today other than stocks going up and stocks crypto kind of ripping, and then obviously that Iran news. Again, like I was saying at the top of the show, been really talking about a lot about digital collectibles and NFTs during this time. There's just something, I don't know what it is, but I just have a feeling that like I was saying, I think it's just where the world is with collectibles just being the biggest thing, and then digital assets also just rising in prominence. That something's going to give in the next few years to where I think NFT collecting, digital collecting, is just going to be a mainstream phenomenon. Um, and I don't know if it produces a hype cycle where every NFT is going up again and everybody's minting all these new projects. Like I sure hope so. But I think what is going to happen is there's going to be a select few or several IPs that kind of grow grow to become massive brands, and then those NFTs and collectibles will become very valuable. And I'm really starting to come to realization now that I think that NFTs are not just going to rise back to prominence, but I think it's the future of how business and IPs are going to be built, which I just sounds insane thinking about where NFTs are at right now. But I think the way Gary Vee especially is doing this, fuck, I'm not sharing my screen. Where how Gary is really doing this with V Friends. You know, I put out this post today talking about how I picked up this Stoic Slime today, the VF1, for 1 point, I think, what is it, 1.5 ETH, 1.54 ETH, which right now is about $3,000. Where'd it go? $3,000. I was just talking about, you know, V Friends might not be the cool project right now. Obviously, um, to a lot of people, it's like a kid's brand or might not be as the cool thing, especially the last few years. I'm starting to feel that shift a bit, but you know, I'm saying, you know what will be cool in a few years, is owning the original collectible for the next Disney, Pokemon, Marvel type IP. That also gives you access to exclusive drops, discounts, events, rewards. And imagine if Disney came out, and I remember Mike JY actually talked about this. This couple months ago, that imagine if like Disney came out with through NFTs, and they dropped their original collectibles, original Mickey collectibles, and then there was some of Goofy and whatever else, and you got access in the very beginning to all of Disney's drops with their discounts on all the biggest collectibles. You got exclusive access or first dibs to a bunch of the Disney collectibles, and maybe in the early days that might not have meant much, but imagine, you know, that VF or that original collectible also gave you eventually a season pass to Disneyland. or and all these different things throughout Disney's history, but you got it early on and you got to witness the up, witness the um, rising, or the rise from the bottom to the top of these brands and be involved from day one. I think that's so profound. I think that's literally what we're going to experience over the next few years in VFriends and some of these other existing brands. And then I think that might just be the future of how these IPs are built through community, through online ways, giving people ownership, or at least um, financial upside in the future of the company. And I think this will eventually lead to some of these brands when they go public. You heard Luca talk about this. He wants to give ownership, whenever they do IPO to the company. I think if VFriends, for example, goes public some days, I find it hard to believe that they won't, give some type of, allocation of the ownership to the actual holders. So yeah, I think we're just not only early on NFTs like the assets, but a huge business model that could literally imagine that world. You could literally be involved and speculate on, but really be involved and collect and be involved in the early, days of your favorite brand. I think the same thing will happen with musicians nowadays. Gary talks about that with music NFTs. I know that's another meme right now, but music NFTs as well. But yeah, I'm going on a fucking rant. Yeah, I see the comments. ATK Mike says thoughts about the futures of NFTs in gaming. I think that's also going to be a massive thing. I heard Gary, another somebody sent me something he said today. Ron Jordan sent me something where Gary said that every like Fortnite, just like everybody's saying with crypto gaming, he reaffirms that he thinks all gaming assets will be NFTs in a few years. So I think it's inevitable. Bro Fit says, congrats on the VF1. Stoic Slime is a fun character. I love the VFriends community personally, but also been working towards my first VF1 Gutsy Gecko. Let's go, bro. It's coming, bro. Yeah, no, bro's great. Had the pleasure of getting to know him recently. He's been helping me with some stuff with fitness, and great guy. Definitely follow him and teacher Katie if you haven't already. But thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Yo, Brent, I tuned in late. What are you Chad's cover so far? We're just talking a bit about earlier about Bitcoin, how it's at a real decision point at this low. Talked a little bit about how the Iran president said they're close to a deal, but nothing yet. And then really just talking about digital collectibles and NFTs a bit, and how not only are NFTs probably gonna have a big resurgence, at least the few that have survived, but I think this might be the future of how IPs really are built, at least a lot of them, right? So, not too much going on today. I wanted to come on again, talking a lot about NFTs and digital collectibles lately, but we're going to continue to do these streams, especially when crypto and the coins and everything are popping off. Um, but yeah, definitely check out yesterday the space we did with Jeremy Knows, the Twitter space yesterday as well. If you're tuning into the stream, you've been on these streams for the last year and a half with the crypto stuff, and you've wanted to come up and say what's up or talk or ask questions or any of that good stuff. Mondays and Wednesdays, my buddy my buddy Hemdog and I, are do these spaces where right now it's been super NFT kind of heavy, talking to founders and people in the community, but both Hem and I are crypto guys as well. We'll be talking about the crypto different opportunities we see in all different kinds of markets. So we'd love for everybody to come on and say what's up next week as well. We'll be putting out the tweet for the next one tomorrow here sometime today. So yeah, this was a great one. It was a great conversation. I mean, the biggest objectives for these streams is not only interview and to hear stories of cool people like Jeremy and Poppy and insight from Chimpers, uh, and hopefully people can get some motivation and something tangible from them. But most of all, have a place where people from all different crypto communities, projects, can come together and just talk about what's going on. So definitely check that out on Monday and Wednesday. Um, Appreciate you, Katie. Appreciate you. But yeah, pretty quiet. I think again we will come back here on Friday. I'll probably be on another 15 more minutes, but I think if we come back here on Friday, we'll see again whether Bitcoin, if we are holding still above here for a few more days, I think there is a good shot that we could put in a temporary bottom. Could put in a temporary bottom, but I think there's a good shot that just like we saw kind of around here, where you kind of chop up a little bit, we could get one more hit to that low, but just really not overcomplicating it right now. Accumulate, 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 and yeah, there's really not any crazy meme coins or anything really moving at all the last week or so, last couple days. Usually I'll highlight a few opportunities in the short term kind of coins, but I'm not really seeing too much right now. Um, and yeah, I just wanted to come on here, do a little bit of update on the majors, chop it up. Obviously, we usually have a segments on different things to talk about, but again, very quiet last few days in the market. And we really like all of these different charts we're looking at: DXY, the dollar index, oil, which obviously is up like crazy. Anybody in the U.S. knows. Like, I think around here in SoCal, gas prices are creeping up on, I think, 7, which is insane. Obviously, everybody would prefer the fucking oil prices to come down, but that's a big decision factor, which will happen around the Iran war. If there really is a resolution, obviously oil prices will probably come down. But just like this Bitcoin, just like DXY, oil too is in a very kind of important decision point. So what I suspect will kind of happen over the next couple of weeks is we'll probably get one of two things. Either there really is some kind of deal between Iran and the US, which will probably create a bottom and a bounce here on Bitcoin that takes us back above 70 and into the 80s, or which is probably just as likely, just like in China and 5 other times in the China thing, they'll pull back and all of a sudden the US will say, oh, Iran wasn't doing what we needed, and they continue. And either one of those scenarios, I think, will correspond with both of those different directions. And again, I think what's most likely to happen is we do get another sweep here, whether that means there's more escalation or not. But we got to see what happens. Bren, what about your perspective on meme coin space? Since I saw you and Bossman investing in higher established coins so far, like Bullcoin. Yeah, Bull's actually, I stand corrected. Bull is actually one of the few this week that has moved, which has been nice. Wow, dude, it is going fucking nuts today. So yeah, Bulls doing nicely, but as far as meme coins, I think meme coins as a category are not going anywhere. They were around. Doge is the oldest meme coin been around since 2016, but even in the 2021 bull run, we saw meme coins go crazy on BNB, and then obviously 2023, you know, going up, going crazy with Pepe and Mog and everything else that followed. I think it's obvious that meme coins are kind of, as a category, are kind of bear market proof, meaning I think they're always going to be where a lot of the retail or kind of, retail, quote unquote, retail capital comes into, especially if we ever get like normies or like the general public kind of trading crypto again. I think meme coins are going to be where a lot of that goes. Now, 97% of the existing meme coins, just like NFTs, are probably dead and not coming back, except the few that have movements behind it. Just like we're talking about VeeFriends, people are collecting it. A lot of them, like myself, are buying it because they think it's also a good bet long term, other than collecting, right? But most people in VeeFriends, for example, are collecting it because they love the characters, they're around for the community, they want to be involved. And meme coins that survive are the same way. There's a lot of people who are building as a collective who have these bigger visions for it to become a big movement. SPX, Mog, for example. Like, I keep saying this, Mog is the biggest. The word Mog is like the most popular word, like, in the mainstream, amongst probably 18 to 25-year-olds, like, in the world right now. Obviously, looks maxing, which is this big trend right now with this guy Clavicular. And they're saying Mog, just like the people on crypto Twitter were using the word terminology Mog, like, like 2 years ago. And now it's literally everybody. It's crazy. Like, I remember, like, there'd be 500, 1,000 people on crypto Twitter saying it, like, get mogged and like all this stuff. And now it's literally the biggest thing. if crypto conditions were good right now, there's no way Mog Coin wouldn't be in the multiple billions. It's like a real movement in the mainstream where people don't even know about the meme coin quite yet, and the meme coin kind of preceded the rise of the actual real world thing, which is crazy. So, yeah, I think there's a select few, the Mogs, the Gigas, the SPXs that have true movements that I think are not only going to bounce back, but are going to go on to become like huge, like movements outside of crypto, I think. So, meme coins as a whole, I think come back. The only ones I really care about, the only ones I really am investing in right now are a few that I don't even really call meme coins anymore. They're movement coins, the SPX 6900, MOG, uh, ticker Bitcoin, Troll, USDUC, a few of these. And and again, it's not a bet on the meme, it's a bet on the movement. I think tokenized communities and movements through NFTs and tokens are in their very very early days, and I think they're the tokens and NFTs are probably the best way to get people around a cause, and I just don't think the world knows it yet. So, are meme coins onboarding more users in serious projects? Yeah, I mean the last few years for sure. That's a great point, Mike. Much appreciated, bro. Because most coals are farming these days and dumping these days, but you guys are just like authenticity. Yeah, I appreciate that, brother. I'm just trying to share what's worked for me, and I love this shit, dude. Like I said, I've been doing this crypto shit, and I was spending just as much time doing this way before it was actually profitable for me. It's entertaining. I used to, I need to get back on it, but I remember I used to watch 2, 3, 4 hours a day of interviews on these topics around crypto and these markets and stuff, and like they're just so entertaining for me. So I love doing this stuff, and I appreciate the kind words. AVLD, my ex is bugging. Is anyone experiencing this? No, I'm not. I haven't really been checking though. What'd you say? Damn, someone did Miami on Justin Bieber's Pokemon.
Cards has the potential very quickly to become the kind of thing that people display in their homes. Bieber posted a post where he showed a huge stack of like his epic Pokemon collection that he bought, no different than a nice painting, and I think that's going to happen with comic books, and I think you're going to see that quite a bit. Cards has the potential.
Comic books. V Friends today as well, for my V Friends people in here. 2 hours, they're having a big whatnot stream. Um, Supposed to be having a. Give me 1 second here. They're supposed to be having a big stream today, right here. Let me share this. On Whatnot. For those of you guys who don't know, um, Whatnot is a live selling platform where essentially people can sell things online or sell things directly on stream. This concept's probably new to a lot of people in America, but yeah, you should guys should definitely check it out. Live shopping in general, but anyways, VFriends has a big show tonight that's supposed to tie in the physicals and the digital. So we'll see what happens there, which is exciting. Other than that, I'll probably just keep it as close to about 45 minutes to an hour as possible. Obviously, these shows will be longer. There'll be more to talk about during a more exciting week, but I just want to touch base with you guys on the charts and talk a little bit about the content lately with the digital collectibles being more heavy. But of course, I think the best is yet to come for both digital collectibles and crypto. I think 2027 is going to be a strong year, and very possibly the end of this year could be as well. So, with that, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here. Like I said, we're doing these shows continuous. Still gonna do these shows every Tuesdays and Fridays. I'm actually gonna move it to 1 p.m. PST here, which is what we started here around today, a little bit later. But right now it's 2 p.m. PST. Gonna start it at 1 p.m. PST, a little bit later than usual from now on. Tuesdays and Fridays. We have the Twitter Spaces on Mondays and Wednesdays. Um, where if you want to come up and chop it up with us, definitely look out for that. And with that, if there's nothing else in the comments, I appreciate everybody for being here. What's up, Trippin? I appreciate you for reposting. We're just about to sign off, but with that, guys, I will see you guys on Friday, and I'll see you soon. Peace.